I'm really thrilled to be on this shortlist, and I'm thrilled for two reasons, really. I'm thrilled for the book because Come Down was published right at the worst time, just came out when the pandemic started and we all panicked and everything shut down. And then it matters to me enormously to be shortlisted for Welsh Book of the Year because I feel like I've been accepted by the Welsh literary establishment. I've always felt that I'm not quite Welsh enough, despite growing up in Aberystwyth and returning there to work as an adult. But, you know, I don't have the language, or at least I don't have the language well enough for professional work. And so it's really precious to me. It really means something symbolically. I've always, as I say, been interested and been quite involved myself in co-translation, that lovely form of creative collaboration. I've been lucky to be translated a lot myself, and I've done a lot of work overseas, been invited to lots of festivals and so on. But I started, really, I spent too long in the first stage of my career as a writer, which was working with writing in healthcare, innovating projects and also researching them, and in fact ending up writing my PhD about it. And I think when you're young, you're very idealistic and you think that life is infinite, and actually it's not. And if I could speak to my younger self, I would say be more strategic, be less idealistic. But also in recent years, I have started to write, you know, what we might call literary prose. So I've written one book about place, Limestone Country, and two literary biographies, both about women, Mary Shelley and Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And I'm now writing a book about the legacy of romantic ideas about the countryside in Britain. Come Down is a double exploration. It's kind of, I think of it like a palimpsest. So there's my valley where I live now, where however rooted I want to feel and however historic the valley and the patterns of settlement, obviously I'm new here, I'm not from here. And then there's my family history and my, as it were, genetic identity. And while I was writing this book, I finally traced my father's side of the family, who are Australian. So there was a long, and that meant I discovered all the stories about immigration, emigration. And I've never been to Australia. So Australia for me is a Australia of the mind, but peopled. So I don't quite belong there. And then there's this valley here on the Welsh borders where I am physically, but don't have any heritage. So it's about searching to belong, the whole book. Deaf. Are you listening? You are listening to the world, you think. But you hear yourself over and over. The dark tongue of world, its hidden places under trees beyond the lights. Darkness falling from your feet, so deep you could fall through it forever. And how loud world is with night in the trees, like a roost of galahs rising. The dark tongue of world rising up through you as you fall, dear self, dear lonely self, falling, silently mouthing through sound.